This week's parsha, Shlach. Hashem tells Moshe, Shlach Hashem sent spies, sent messengers, sent scouts, and they should go to Eretz Canaan, the land of Canaan, Eretz Yisrael, and they should choose one from each tribe. From each tribe, you should take the head of the tribe, and then the Torah describes the names of these 12 men. And it says, for example, these are the names. Lamate Reuven, for the tribe of Reuven, Shemuel ben Zakur. The name of the man for the tribe of Reuven is called Shemuel. Lamate Shimon, Shemuel. Lamate Reuven, Shimon, Lamate Yehuda, etc. Then it says, Lamate Ephraim, to the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea ben Nun. So for the tribe of Ephraim, we know that Yosef, which is the 11th son of Yaakov, had two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. So Menashe was the older one, Ephraim was the younger one. Hoshea Yeshua ben Nun was from the tribe of Ephraim. So the tribe of Levi did not send a scout, because the tribe of Levi did not have a chelik in Eretz Yisrael, did not have a portion in the land of Israel, so they did not send. So you have 11 sons, minus 12 sons minus the son of Levi, so it's 11. But you have the tribe of Yosef himself, divided into two, Ephraim and Manasseh. So when it comes to the tribe of Ephraim, it says, Lamate Ephraim, Hoshea ben Nun. When it comes to the tribe of Manasseh, the pasuk says, the verse says like this, Lamate Yosef, Lamate Manasseh, Gadi ben Susi. To the tribe of Yosef, who is the tribe of Manasseh, the head of the tribe is Gadi ben Susi. So why, when it comes to the tribe of Ephraim, it just says Lamate Ephraim, Hoshea ben Nun, just for the tribe of Ephraim? The person that was the head of that tribe and went as one of the scouts, his name was Hoshea ben Nun. When it comes to the tribe of Manasseh, it says Lamate Yosef and Lamate Manasseh. That's the first question. The second question, which is a very important question, is Moshe gathers these people and he tells them they should go to the land of Israel. And Moshe says, these are the people that Moshe sends. Vayikra Moshe l'Hoshea ben Nun Yeshua. Moshe calls Hoshea ben Nun Yeshua. Hoshea ben Nun. Moshe calls him Yehoshua with the Yud. Why is he calling him with a Yud? Rashi says, Hashem should protect you from the advice of the scouts. So Moshe gives Hoshea ben Nun a special blessing that he should protect it from the scouts. So the obvious question is, if Moshe Rabbeinu knew that there was some problem with the scouts, so first of all, why does he only pray for Hoshea ben Nun? How come he doesn't pray for all the other ones? And why does he? And if he doesn't know, if he doesn't know anything is going to go wrong, why does he have to pray for him? So either way, if he knew something was wrong, that they're going with wrong intentions, then he should have prayed for all of them. If he didn't know anything was wrong, so why is he praying for Yeshua? So the Arizal answers this question, but he doesn't address the question. The Arizal doesn't ask the question and answer the question. The Arizal just says the way it is. The Arizal tells us like this, that when it says Lamate Reuven for the tribe of Reuven, or Lamate Shimon for the tribe of Shimon, it means that the son of Yaakov, Reuven, Shimon, Yehuda, Yisachar, Yisrael, these are the children of Yaakov, they were impregnated into these people. Lamate Reuven, for the tribe of Reuven, Reuven's soul became impregnated in Shemuel ben Zakur. Lamate Shimon, to the tribe of Shimon, the person Shimon, the biblical character, the son of Yaakov, Shimon became impregnated and entered into the soul of Shemuel ben Zakur. And the same thing with all the tribes. Therefore, the Ari says, this is the reason why it says Lamate Yosef, Lamate Menashe. Lamate Yosef, Lamate Menashe means that the soul of Yosef, where did the soul of Yosef go? Who did he become impregnated with? To Lamate Menashe, to the tribe of Menashe, Gadi ben Susi. Now, if the soul of Yosef from the sons of Yaakov entered into Gadi ben Susi, now there's a problem. The problem is that Hoshea ben Nun, who is from the tribe of Ephraim, does not have the Ibur of Yosef, does not have the impregnation of Yosef. The impregnation was from Yosef into Menashe's tribe, not into Ephraim's tribe. And this is the reason why Moshe Rabbeinu davened especially for Yeshua. Why did Moshe Rabbeinu especially pray for Yeshua? Because Moshe Rabbeinu saw that Yeshua doesn't have an Ibur from one of the tribes of one of the sons of Yaakov. Reuven had from the tribe, Shimon had from his tribe, Yehuda had from Yehuda. Each of the children, each of the scouts had an impregnation of one of the souls of the children of Yaakov. He didn't. Hoshea ben Nun did not, because Yosef was Menashe, not to Ephraim. So therefore he prayed for him and he gave him an extra soul. Whose soul did he give him? He gave him the soul of Levi. He impregnated him with the soul of Levi, because Moshe was from the tribe of Levi. So therefore, since Moshe was in the tribe of Levi, he impregnated with his power, he impregnated Hoshea ben Nun with the soul of the tribe of the son of Yaakov, which is Levi. So now each of the 12 scouts have a soul of one of the impregnated from the original 12 tribes, 12 sons of Yaakov. Okay. Then the story continues, and the story says that they go to Eretz Yisrael, and Yalu b'Negev, Yalu Hebron. It says that they went to Hebron. So Rashi writes, Yalu b'Negev, Yalu Hebron. They came to Hebron. Why did they go to Hebron? Because Rashi writes, Shekalav, that brings the Gemara, and Saita, the Gemara says, Kalav halach v'nishtat al kiver avos. That Kalav went, Kalav, who's from Ben Yefuna, Kalav Ben Yefuna from the tribe of Yehuda, went to go to pray at the gravesite of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, the patriarchs, and of Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, Rivka, and Leah, of the matriarchs. This is where Kalev went. He went to go to pray at the Kivrei Avos. What did he do when he prayed at the Kivrei Avos, at the gravesite of his ancestors? So there's a teaching from the Baal Shem HaKadosh. Baal Shem teaches, and this teaching is brought down in the Moreh Einayim. The Chernobyl brings down this teaching in the name of his Rebbe. So I'll read a little bit what the teaching is, and I'll understand what is the practice of hishtadchos. What does it mean, hishtadteach hakiver tzadikim, hishtadteach hakiver avos, that a person went, that Kalev went to prostrate himself, to mizdabek, to connect with the soul of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Why? What happens when you pray at the graveside of a tzadik? What are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to accomplish? Besides the simple interpretation that it's, and there's multiple levels of hishtadchos, the simple interpretation is that you're going because it's a Makom Kadosh, it's a holy place, or because it's a tzaddik that you knew, and therefore you're reminded of the holiness, the sacredness of his face, of the tzaddik's presence, so therefore you pray with better kavanah. These are all without actually doing any type of connection with the tzaddik. Just being in the presence of the tzaddik reminds you of being in a sacred place, in a holy place, allows you to be focused more, to daven more. And this is what the Mittler Rebbe talks about in Kutas Hishtadchos, of the different levels of Hishtadchos, and these are the earlier processes of Hishtadchos, of this type of connection that a person has when they pray at the graveside of a tzaddik. But then there's the higher level of Hishtadchos, which is called Dafka Rucha Berucha, the connection between the Ruach and Ruach, between the spirit and the spirit. This is a very high level. This is the Zohar talks about, the Ari HaKadosh speaks about in Sharuch HaKodesh. And here we have a teaching from the Baal Shem Tov that the Chernobyl brings down in the name of the Baal Shem Tov to understand what is Hishtadchos. What are you actually trying to achieve on a higher madreg, on a higher level? What are you trying to achieve when you go to the grave of a tzaddik? So I'll read a little bit what it says, and then we'll try to unpack and understand. So he brings down like this. When a person learns words of a Tana or a Chacham from the earlier generations, in other words, a person learns something from the times of the Mishnah, the times of the Gemara, from the times of the Rishonim, someone learns a Torah, a teaching from a great sage, a great tzaddik that lived many years ago or in the past. What they're learning is, if you're learning an idea that, let's say, Rabbi Kiva said, so what you're doing is you're learning something that Rabbi Kiva's chayas and moichin, his intelligence, his mind, was created that idea. Who created it? Let's say you're reading a teaching by Rabbi Akiva, and you're learning this teaching by Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva is a person, and Rabbi Akiva had an idea. So every single thing in this world, there's the thing itself, the davar atzmius, the atzmius itself, the thing itself, and then there's the chayas, and then there's the life force of it, the moichin, the intelligence. Chayas and moichin are interchangeable, and in Torah Ari, in the teachings of the Ari, the word that Ari always uses is moichin. And later in Chassidish Sforim, and later by the Baal Shem Tov, it's chayas, life. But chayas and moichin is the same thing, which means like this, that let's say there's a human being, let's say a person that's alive. Person that's alive, there's a flesh and blood, there's a living being, so there's an animating force that's giving this person livelihood. What's the liveliness of this person? That the individual can walk, can talk, can speak, can move. This is the movement, the chayas, the life force. Let's say a person is standing still or sleeping. Where do you see a person's chayas? So the most pronounced place where you see a person's chayas is in the ideas that they have. The person's ideas, the person's moichin, that's the highest level of chayas that they have. Let's say you have movement is one level of chayas. Let's say you see a person running. So you say, I see a person running, so I know that the person's alive. I see a person moving his arm, so I know there's liveliness. The difference between a person that's not alive versus a person that's alive is a person that's alive can move. Physically, they can move their body. That's one level of livelihood. Then there's a higher level of livelihood, a higher level of chayas. Is not only they can move their physical body, but they can also feel. Because a lot of things in this world can actually move. We don't know yet perfectly exactly the life of plants, but we don't know if plants have emotion. We know that they can move. There's some plants in the rainforest that actually walk over time. We know that and they grow and they expand. So there's movement. But do they have ruach? Do they have feelings? Feelings is already a higher level of movement. It's a movement where you're actually experiencing the other person. You're feeling the other person. You're moving outside yourself. There's one level of movement. Let's say something that's expanding physically is growing. That's a movement of just the self expanding outward. That's one level of movement. That's one level of chayas. But then there's a higher level of movement is that not only am I expanding outside my space, but I actually could enter into your space. I can feel you. I can be empathetic to you. I can be sympathetic to you. I can enter into your space. It's a higher level of movement. That's midas. That's emotions. And the highest level of movement, where we see a person, where do we really see the person? In the ideas that they have, in the things that what they're thinking about. Where do we see the personality of a person? Is of course how they act and how they feel, but how they think. The thinking, the way the person thinks, that's the gestalt. That actually creates. Therefore, they act this way and they feel this way. Now, it doesn't mean that necessarily they're conscious of their thoughts and they understand exactly how their life works is working. But there's a thought process. There's some type of belief system. There's a certain type of understanding of how their life is, and because they understand their life in a certain way, therefore they feel this way and they act this way and they project this way. But the ultimate chayas of a person is in their brain, in their mind. Now, this is also when a person's alive. And why is intellect even a higher level of chayas? Because intelligence, moichin, allows you not only to be sympathetic, but to actually enter into the other person's understanding. With your intelligence, you can understand exactly how the other person is thinking. And therefore can understand why this other person is thinking this way, therefore why this person has these emotions, and why this person has these feelings. So intellect is, the moichin is the highest place of chayas. Now, a person's alive, and then a person passes on. So what happens? Physically, when a person's alive, there's animation on the body. The body is moving. There's animation on their feelings. They're expressing their feelings. And there's animation of thoughts. There's constantly new thoughts, new chayas, new ideas that are being developed. When a person passes on, where do we find their chayas still present? Their chayas is still present in their thoughts that they had. Someone tells you something. Let's say you had a great-grandfather. Someone that's very old told you an idea. When you heard that idea, you heard the chayas of the person. This is the life force. This is the moichin of that person that they gave you over this idea. The person told you this idea, your grandparent, or your great-grandparent, or even your father, God forbid, or mother, and they passed away. But that idea still lives with you. That's their chayas that exist. That chayas, that life that exists, doesn't have a vessel, which means that if you're not going to think that thought is dead. When the person's alive and a person's constantly generating their own thoughts, so the person himself is animating their own thoughts. When a person is no longer alive, the thoughts are still alive, but the thought theoretically has no vessel to receive it. So this is what happens. The Gemara says that Souls of Tzadikim is a kever. That there's a type of, the Gemara Yevamos Tzaddik Zayin talks about that the Agur Melech Olam, the David Melech was mispal King David prayed that he shall live in both worlds, in this world and in the spiritual world, and that his mouth should continuously speak in the grave. What does it mean that his mouth continuously speaks in his grave? So the Baal Shem Tov is teaching, and this is a Torah that the Arizal speaks also, but Baal Shem Tov brings it out a little more clear in this Torah, is that when a person learns, what they're doing is they're learning this person's Torah. This person's Torah, this person's teaching that they gave over while they were alive, that was their chayas. Now the chayas is in a dormant state. Now you use your chayas, your life, your intelligence, your moichin, now to understand this thought. So what you're doing is you're enlivening something that was once alive, that's in fact always alive, but it's just didn't have the vessel to receive it any longer. When a person's alive, the brain is generating new thoughts. So the moichin, the intelligence, has a house, a storage house, which generates new thoughts. So there's constantly moichin chadashim, constantly new thoughts, and the person is continuously being alive. When a person passes on, all their thoughts that they gave out, all their ideas that they gave out into this world, still exists, sort of like in some type of objective reality. That objective reality is like words on a page. It's like written on a page. Before the words are read, written on a page, they're dead in a way. It's not read. There's no chayas in it. There's no life in it. Who creates the life? The person himself that reads these words, he creates new life to these words. When a person reads this Torah, learns this Torah. So what he's doing actually is taking his chayas, his own chayas, his own life, his own animating life, and he's giving animation and life to something that was once alive. How did that thing, what generated that thing that was alive? Rabbi Akiva, thousands of years said this Torah. That was his moichin, that was his chayas, that was his life, that was projected into his thought. This thought now exists as an objective reality. Now that you're thinking about this thought, hundreds or thousands of years later, you're giving your chayas to that thought because you're thinking about it and you're alive and you're passionate about it and you're thinking about it and you're creating new ideas based on that thought, and now that chayas starts living. So if that chayas starts living, that's what happens. Is now what's occurring is that is his dafkas rucha berucha. His dafkas rucha berucha means ki bechinas ishtapchus al kivet tzadikim gediber tzadik shu cover the tom chayis shlo ka'amur zel loyme b'chachas chayis moichin shlo tzadik shetamad varav. The Souls of Tzadikim, that when the tzadik, the dibur shel tzadik should cover the dibur of the tzadik, words of the tzadik, that's now presently resting in this place, that the chayis shaloi, the life force of his, was drawn into the teachings that he gave over. Now when you're reading these words, you're machayim moichin shaloi tzadik. You're giving life to the moichin, to the intelligence of that tzadik. The thought existed, and the thought, the way it existed, had chayis, had life. When the person was alive, that was their projection of their life. Just like when a person's alive, their hand movement is their projection, their feelings is their projection, and even more so, their thoughts is their projection. Their thoughts is where we see the person's chayis, the person's life. What is the person? Who is this individual? I know because I understand the way he thinks, the way he operates, the way he thinks about life, the way he understands life. That's his chayis. This chayis was now said for thousands of years ago was said as a teaching of Rabbi Akiva that said these words. Now it lay dormant for 2,000 years. You come along with your own chayis, and you learn this Torah, or repeat the words of David HaMelech in Tehillim, which David said with his chayas, with his life force, when he gave it over. Now you're giving life to these lifeless words. That's his dafkas rucha berucha. Your life, your chayas, is now connected with this chayas. And Reb Chaim Vital, in Shar Kedushin, the fourth chelik, the fourth part, which is a little bit of a mysterious part of Shar Kedushin, bring down something even more bohemic, and it seems like this is what the Baal Shem Tov is alluding to. That just like in life, your lips, your mouth, the mouth that you have it's physical, it's a physical thing. But there's no chayas in the mouth itself. What has chayas? What has life? The ideas that you speak through your mouth. The mouth on its own, let's say you have nothing to say, and you just chirp your mouth and you just say words, just aleph, beis, gimel, it means nothing. When does your mouth become something that's conveying something of meaning, that has life, that has moichin, that has intelligence? When there is moichin, when there is intelligence of the words that you're saying, then the chayas of your nefesh and your ruach and your neshama of your soul is being expressed through your lips and your tongue and your teeth and your mouth and your teeth and your mouth. This is all through the medium of your mouth is what allows for the chayas of yourself to be expressed into this world. So there's a dynamic over here, even within your own self, where the mouth itself is sort of the inanimate object, and the chayas, the life force of the mouth, is the idea, the feeling, the idea, the thought process. So when you speak words, your mouth, which is the lifeless object in your body, now becomes a merkava, a chariot, a medium through which your thoughts is passing through. So your thoughts is animating your mouth. You following this analogy? So the merkava is the mouth itself, is a chariot. The mouth itself is a chariot, and your thought process and the thoughts that you're speaking through your mouth enliven your mouth. Okay, so this is the way it happens when you speak itself. So your mouth becomes the merkava to your thoughts. So your mouth, which is the physical object that's projecting these sounds, becomes the chariot and the medium through which your chayas of what your life force is going on within you is being expressed. Says Reb Chaim Vital that when you learn the words of a tzaddik, let's say you're reading the words of the Mishnah, what you're really doing is like this. You're saying, I am connecting my nefesh to the nefesh of the tzaddik. My nefesh to the nefesh of the tzaddik means how we express ourselves in action. What's the relationship between me and the tzaddik in the world of action? So before you go to the grave of a tzaddik, and you go into Mishteach HaKivir Tzadikim, what do? You think like this. I'm going to this particular tzaddik. I'm going to this tzaddik. What was this tzaddik's special quality in the world of nefesh, in the world of action? I want to do something that's relatable to that action. Because I want to makasher, I want to connect my nefesh to the nefesh of that tzaddik. If this is what the tzaddik was Isaac, this is what the tzaddik was always involved with, this was the main mission of the world and in the world of the physical world, what the tzaddik lived for, I'm going to do an action that relates to that tzaddik. So I'm connecting my nefesh to the nefesh of the tzaddik, my action to the action of the tzaddik. Then I think about the ruach, which is the spirit. The spirit is also the words of the tzaddik. What is the way, how, or the emotions of the tzaddik? How the tzaddik, what's the emunah avir of the tzaddik? What is the faith, the love, and the awe of the tzaddik? I want to connect. I want to resonate with the tzaddik on that level. I want to integrate some level on the level of ruach. Then I want to do also on the level of neshama, which is the thought process. I want to connect to the tzaddik on the level of thought. How do I connect to the tzaddik on the level of thought? I want to connect to their moichin, to their intelligence. What's their moichin? I'm going to learn Torah that's connected to that tzaddik. And when you learn Torah that's connected to the tzaddik, you're going to mispal, to the prayer, this kever tzaddik, so then you actually connect with the ikar chayas, the main chayas of the tzaddik, which is the moichin, and the chayas of neshama that's connected to the tzaddik, and then you do iskashrus and isdavkus, connection between your nefesh, ruach, and neshama, between you and the tzaddik, and then ulai hai v'ulai. It's possible, like the Alter Rebbe writes in Tanya, it's possible that what you'll experience at the grave of the tzaddik, if you do all these preparatory states, and you'll enter it within a state with a consciousness, with a mindfulness, with a kavanah of connected to the tzaddik on that level, it's possible you actually receive an impregnation, an ibur of the tzaddik. A spiritual empowerment, a spiritual elevation from the tzaddik that you're connected with. And that's why Kalev goes to Mashtateach HaKivrei Avos. That's why the Kalev goes to pray at the grave of his ancestors. He goes to the grave of Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, and Leah. He goes to pray at their grave because he understands that in order for them to be successful in their mission and in their scouting in the land of Israel, they need to have an impregnation. Moshe gave them an impregnation. Moshe gave an extra impregnation of the tribe of Levi into Yeshua, and Kalev knew that he can get even impregnation even from a higher level, which is the Madrega, the level of the Avos, which are the Merkava, and therefore he went to receive an impregnation, like the Baal Shem writes, to receive an impregnation of this level of tzaddik is dafka rucha berucha, and therefore he should be successful, and he was successful. Okay.
Could we do